we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
What do you know? The week is cruising by. A lot of work is to be had. A lot of work is something that we still have to do. So keep grinding out there. Keep shining out there. We got a great guest. Man, this guy has been blowing up the Colorado scene for a very long time. He is wearing mini hats and has a dope hat on tonight. And this is JD. He runs the Left Hand Right Brain podcast. He has Los Chupacabros. Did I say it right?
Chupacabros.
Yeah. So that's a fun one. He has fun podcast, and then he also has Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding podcast as well. So our man JD in here, he's crushing the game. He's doing many things in the Denver area, and we're just really excited to have you in, man.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah, brother. Thanks for making the trip down. You know, it's been fun connecting with Denver podcasters throughout the years, and you know, John Ekstrom, like we mentioned off mic, and Paul Caroli, and just, you know, bringing everyone together to sit down. I know you say you're not drinking right now. That's okay. We will be.
Yeah,
but
totally cool with that.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I heard you guys on John's podcast and John on your guys' a lot, and I got jealous. You know, I get really jelly. I get pod jelly. And
pod jelly.
I was like, got to get on.
Hell yeah. I'm glad we can finally make it happen. And then we're going to have to do your show, of course.
Sure.
At some point in due time.
Yeah, which one would we fit in the best on?
Left Hand Right Brain, yeah,
okay.
that one.
Can we drink on there?
Sure. Yeah, you can do whatever you want on there.
See, this guy, he just needs to have his, you know, we can talk more about that later.
So do you, so I wouldn't go that far.
I'm eating gummies and stuff, man.
The man's nice enough to invite us on his show, so.
Hey, and JD, we're so appreciative. And really quick, before we jump in too deep, John, we really appreciate John X from John of All Trades. We really appreciate every single time you showed up with beer in hand. You're doing a great.
He's a classy man.
However,
the bar has been raised, and JD made it a point when he came in that look, I'm bringing these guys a bottle of bourbon. That's 4 Roses, guys.
We got 4 Roses. We're trying it right now, and it's delicious.
We're giving it a go. See, John set the bar. JD just came in and set it higher. So, John, next time you're on the show, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah, where's the bottles at, baby? No, we're just playing, man. We love you, John. You know, it's all good fun, man. It's funny because my whole friend group growing up, like, we all bond through basically bantering about each other and, like, making fun of each other. Uh-huh. And so you kind of have to have thick skin to, like, get in there because you're going to get made fun of, but that's a sign of love.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it.
It's part of the fun, man. It really is. And that's when I first met these wild renegades out west, because, again, I come from New England, right? So I come out west, I get hooked up with these guys, and it's like, okay, it's boys club, you know? You better tighten up. And us New Englanders, you know, we talk shit, but these guys, man, they're ruthless.
Yeah, there's not a lot else to do out here. You know, we watch the Broncos, and then you got to take our rage out on something, you know. So.
I love Colorado, man. It's a great state.
Yeah, it's a hard drinking town. It's a hard football town. Sports, they're hard on sports teams in general, I feel like.
For sure. That's like our bread and butter, man, and I'm a Bronco fan, always have been. I didn't watch last year, but man,
at all?
No, I didn't. Just something about the pandemic. Like, I was just like, I don't know. It was a weird year.
Sure.
And so I'm just, as a Bronco fan, you get used to constantly losing, and you have a couple good seasons with that rare quarterback that comes in, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're back to trying to reorganize the team.
Yeah. Rockies fans are constantly frustrated as well, you know. It's been like, you know, hockey fans and the rare lacrosse fan that has, you know, had some time in the sun, I feel like, but I don't know a lot about sports. We're getting into some murky stuff for me.
Me too.
I'm just like trying not to sound incompetent.
Wait, who is the Denver lacrosse team again? Isn't that?
Is it the Mammoths?
The indoor one is Mammoth, and I used to go to a couple games when I was a kid. My uncle had season passes, and that was like really the only sport I got super into. You know, my dad was super into football and you know, baseball and stuff, and I don't know, for some reason I gravitated towards indoor lacrosse.
I mean, it's a pretty high action sport.
Yeah, it's high speed.
I never played it, but it's kind of fun to watch.
It's high speed. It's got some action. So
yeah, I'd like to see a Mammoths game. I've never seen a live action lacrosse game professional. I mean, high school. You know, I'd go out there and watch because I mean, who's kidding who? Especially the female lacrosse team, it would be pretty easy on the eyes. But well, I mean, who's kidding who? That's what we did in high
The
school.
only thing you can see is their calves, right? I mean,
know.
like from knee to ankle is
they-
what's exposed on a lacrosse team.
Yeah, and growing up in my little small town, man, we would take what we get.
Sure.
That was some good scenery. And so Teddy Bridgewater was just announced as Denver starter today,
Okay.
starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, okay.
We read that shortly before we went on the air. So how do you guys feel about that? Obviously, I'm a Patriots fan, so we know where that stands.
Well, I feel like I saw him do a little bit in preseason. I only watched a little bit of preseason thus far, and I feel like he performed well. However, we're right back into the same thing that the Broncos always do, is we're rotating quarterbacks. We don't have a solid starter that we're going with season after season, and it's just the same old thing, man. So I feel like it's a regular season.
Okay. And how do you feel about it being a 17-game season this year instead of 16?
An extra game.
Yeah, well, I mean, because there's 3 preseason and 17 regular, whereas it was 4 pre, 16 regular. So they're adding that extra game in there. So, we've heard 10-6. Now we're going to hear 10-7, 11-6. It's going to be interesting. It might complicate the playoff picture a little bit.
Give people more chances.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Hey, that's how I am whenever Kevin starts talking racing or
Oh, he's into it, man.
or a couple of
I respect it. I just like, that's not something I've had a lot of time, put a lot of time into.
Sure.
Me neither.
I can understand that. And now more than ever, I'm just so damn busy. When I had time, you could keep up with all this stuff. Who has time to sit down and watch 4 baseball games a week, a football game, a NASCAR race?
It's a lot.
It's tough. It's tough. We
Yeah,
got a lot of
yeah.
shit going on.
Sure.
You know?
So outside of podcasting, because you do, you're doing 3. That's a lot to take on.
It's a lot of work, bro.
A lot of productions, like you said, looking at wave files. A lot of engineers out there could relate with that.
Yeah.
So outside of the podcasts, what you're doing some comedians? You're trying to do some stand-up stuff?
Yeah, I've been doing stand-up comedy for about as long as I've been doing the podcast. I started them right around the same time. And when I first started back in like 2013, I remember hearing some criticism of like, oh, all these new comedians starting their podcasts and thinking they are funny enough to have a podcast. And the podcast is like almost more of my first love, than even over the stand-up. I love podcasting. I love listening to people's stories, talking on, so I always loved talk radio as a kid. As well. So like that, I just always grew up with that in my head, and I enjoyed the DJs bantering back and forth more than I did the music. Like Slacker and Bo,
when they're making
back
jokes
in
and stuff.
Yeah. When I remember in high school, I was Slacker and Bo. Now it's Slacker and Steve. They're Denver staples. I can't remember what the hip hop station, what their names were, but my mom would always listen to that in the mornings as I was going to school.
I would listen to that too, but I forgot their names as well.
KS 107.5.
Yeah, and it was oh well, I'm sorry guys, lost in time.
Yeah.
Just like everything is lost in time eventually. Other than the pyramids, it looks like those are going to stay around for a while. Before we move forward any further, you already know when you're trying to get that CBD that's going to propel your life into a better place, you got to visit mountainmadecbd.com.
That is the clearest, the purest, the most affordable CBD on the market. You guys have heard it day in and day out, week after week, episode after episode. But there's a reason that we stay with these guys. There's a reason that I take a little bit of build in the morning, boost in the afternoon, recovery at night. CBD is such a competitive market, but check out Mountain Made, man. These guys are doing it just a little bit different. They got products coming down the line we can't even talk about yet. That's how much innovation happens. Really great product. We've stood behind them since day one. They've stood behind us since day one. They'll ship anywhere in the nation. You want it on their shelves? Hit them up. MountainMadeCBD.com. Punch in promo code DCPC. Save 20% off your entire order.
Absolutely. And that is the hashtag Go Like Hell mentality.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Wild Outdoor Adventures, and that's going to be WOAMEET.com.
Now, when you go to that website, you could sign up at no charge and see all these different beautiful activities that are happening in the gorgeous state of Colorado, my home state. Man, I love it out here. If you're passing by or you live here and let's say you want to talk to somebody who has a little bit of knowledge, this is a great place to start. They have specific programs as well. Hope for teens, hope for the veterans. Man, I'm not a vet. Kevin's not a vet, but we have a large group of friends that are, and we support the vets day in, day out here. Got to check out Wild Outdoor Adventures to connect with people of similar interests. I mean, if you're a vet coming home and it's a little difficult and you know the other vets know what you're going through, this might be a great place to meet those friends, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's about, is bringing people together of similar interests and experiencing new things. I mean, this state it can be intimidating, right? Maybe you just moved here and you go, these mountains look rough. Well, you get on WA, you sign up for free, you start talking to people that maybe hike some of these things. They can give you some pointers. They're probably going to be out in the trails with you. So it's just a really great way to get outdoors, see some of these great, activities they have going on. The summer's going to be winding down quick, guys. So if you want to experience this stuff before we're back in the cold weather, I highly recommend signing up at WOAMET.com.
And that is #less dreaming and more exploring.
Well, that's an interesting comparison, Arthur. But yeah, talk radio, good stuff. Going back to where this whole thing originated from, because it's like, I still talk to a lot of people, and I'm sure you do too, that question, well, what the hell is a podcast? There's still people that are like, well, what? They're like, I don't get it, and that's fine. It's not for everybody.
Sure.
But it's a perfect example. It does tie back into talk radio. We grew up listening. I liked Howard Stern. Joe Rogan obviously set the bar, and now it's just kind of become its own animal, and you can kind of run wild with it.
Yeah, I mean, I miss the purity of the old days. Like I started back in 2013, and I even thought that was late to get back to get into the podcast game then. Because when I was listening, it was like Kevin Smith, Adam Carolla, Chris Hardwick had Nerdist at that time. It's like ID 10.3 now. It's a different name because he sold off Nerdist. Mark Maron, and I was like, oh, it's too late to get in the game at this point. But now, I mean, Conan's made it into its own thing. What Rogan's become, it's a different animal for sure. I mean, people expect you to have insurance ads in them now and all these different things. I remember when people only did ads at the beginning, and then you could just skip past that and wait till the intro song came on, and then just listen to the podcast, pure and simple.
Now it's become a huge billboard.
Yes. Now Conan has eight ads in his podcast.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, so at what point do you feel like that negatively impacts the listener? Because as any podcast grows, you hope to get sponsorships.
Sure.
And why turn away money when you could have a profitable platform? But at what point does that take away from what you're doing as your mission? I guess it just depends on the podcast, what the mission statement is actually.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's it also reminds me of music, oh, they sold out, and these punk bands. I think of Green Day. That was when I was a kid.
Okay.
They were oh, they sold out when they got on a big label or whatever, and I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. And I mean, it's you can still skip the ads, but it is a little annoying sometimes. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I would agree.
If there's 5 ad spots kicking in,
well, and now they're strategically placed to where the analytics that we have now.
Yeah.
It's okay, we're seeing here's where the listenership's dropping off. Let's try putting it in here. Let's try running this there. And you're just now it's starting to be staggered through. I mean, who's kidding who? If you're paying for the minimum subscription service for some of these stream services, Peacock or whatever, you're watching ads every so often. But we're used to watching commercials, right? That's something we've had to deal with forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, advertising, man, I'll tell you this. I put it in my high school yearbook as one of my pet peeves. I remember the senior write-up section where you would talk about oh, thank you to this person, and there was a pet peeve section in my senior write-up.
Okay.
Commercials was number one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Advertising always irritated me. So does that make me a hypocrite that I advertise on our show? I don't know.
Well, no, because we believe in what they do.
We
believe in what they do. We stand behind our sponsors.
But we're still advertising, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that can get annoying. It just can. I mean, I got in the habit of just hitting that mute button.
Interesting.
During a sports game or during whatever I'm watching.
Okay.
Commercials came on, mute.
Well, and also the decibel level's way higher.
Way higher.
So I used to sell for a satellite provider. I won't name which one. There's only a couple. And there was this whole thing on, the laws of volume and decibel output. And supposedly back then, which was 2014, 2013, they were supposed to make it illegal for the decibel to be higher on commercials opposed to programming. And that never stuck because it's still like that today.
Interesting.
And so I feel like that's one of the most annoying thing about commercials is how loud they are compared to the actual programming.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I think I took a media law class when I was in college. I went to Metro State University. Thank you. And I went for video production. And we had a law class, and I remember him telling me that there are, at least on broadcast television, or maybe it was children's programming specifically, that they don't do that anymore. They like made that a law.
Interesting.
Although,
Okay.
I only got a C in that class, so I don't know if we can rely on my knowledge.
Is that
I
actually?
mean, that's a C's average. Let's not discredit that.
I thought B was average.
Is it?
I thought C.
I thought a C was average.
Because I always felt like people
I
were
had a
better than
C
me when they got
average.
B's.
My parents always required either we'd like to see you get C's. We're not going to bitch.
At least.
I
But
like that.
I wasn't a great student. I really wasn't.
Yeah, me either. I barely scraped by in school.
Yeah. Did you
So
enjoy
if-
it though?
Yes, that's why I went to after I graduated high school, I took 2 years off. Went worked out in an oil field for a while, and then I was like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go back to college.
I'm not going to lose an arm.
Yeah. I did roustabout work, so it wasn't as dangerous as the drillers, but
Okay.
and we'd come in afterwards and put in all the plumbing and stuff like that. But anyway, I won't bore you guys with biz talk. And then I went to Ames Community College, and I did really fall in love with learning at that point. Math classes were fun because it was really understanding a concept and grasping it, knowing you're whittling it all down to an answer, which is really satisfying for me. And then so I got my associates there, and then I transferred over to Metro here in 2011.
Nice.
Been here ever since.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we synced up right there. It's good to be in Denver, but I like what you said about you came into this mental space of appreciating knowledge and learning and the process of learning knowledge. At what point do you feel, because the whole saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I feel like a lot of people fall into that, right? So necessarily or not, but do you feel like there's a certain age to where people feel like they've learned enough and they don't need to learn anymore? What? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I think there's definitely people that get that way, stuck in their own, whatever, ruts kind of a thing. But I definitely think it's you're as old as you feel, and you're only, as stuck as, your own limitations allow. You guys are always talking about these are always very positive. I mean, something I've heard you guys say on the podcast a lot is your perception is reality, kind of a thing. And I think, if you think you're done, then you're done.
That's true.
And if you think you can, there's always more. Always being a student, those things. I do love that kind of Bruce Lee philosophy on it of empty your cup so it can be filled and all that jazz. And
Okay.
I guess it's more of an Eastern
Well,
philosophy,
and-
but
well,
I
he
got
also
to that
has,
through Bruce Lee.
Be like water.
Yeah, I got a whole
that whole-
tattoo thing of be like water.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys want to?
Let's take a look
Dude,
at it.
yeah, we'll see it. I mean,
Let's
if
get this
he's
on
getting
there.
ready, yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyone
did
just listening needs to tune into YouTube so you can see this.
Yeah. Epic.
Yeah. So I've done martial arts my whole
Here,
life.
spin
for the
it.
most
Let's
part.
get you on
Yeah,
the
spin
camera here.
yourself.
Yeah, so it
Hell
started
yeah,
off
dude.
as a be like water tattoo, so it's you put water in the cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in a teapot, it becomes a teapot thing.
Yeah.
But then there's also a bigger thing about, a philosopher went to a wise man and was like, oh, I know everything, but I came to learn from you. And, the wise man was pouring tea into a cup and it started overflowing. He's like, what are you doing? It's overflowing. He's like, yeah, that's like you. You're a cup. You have to empty your cup
Yeah.
to get more knowledge, kind of a thing. You got to go around an obstacle sometimes.
Okay.
Or you can grind it down. So all that I feel is represented
So
right
it looks
here
like there's a
little bit.
sunset. There's some waterfalls involved in there.
Yeah.
That's a nice piece.
Yeah, thank you. And it's also just kind of become an ode to all the nerdy things I love. There's some Avatar stuff in here.
Okay.
It kind of goes into a DuckTales. I don't know if you
Oh, yeah,
saw the new
DuckTales. Come on.
DuckTales, dude. It's
I didn't see the new one.
Oh man, it's amazing.
Is it good?
Oh, so good. So good.
And they still
I
got
mean,
the same theme song?
Yeah, it's updated. Just as
Okay.
good. Just as good.
That's a pretty intricate piece. I mean, so when you had the idea of it, right, and you presented it to an artist, or maybe you drew it up, I don't know, but how did you okay, this is what I want it to look like, flow, is what I'm thinking.
LeBlanc Tattoo, shout out. He did it. I had a concept, I did have a cross here I got when I was 18. I wanted to get covered up. So we talked about that, and then we just kept going back and forth the concepts.
Nice.
One of the things that is kind of annoying about some tattoo artists here is that they're getting so much work. They're like, oh, I'll just show you what I drew the day of. There's not a lot of back and forth. Sometimes you got to build a relationship with these people, and they're so busy. That's my only criticism is come on, let me see it before I come in, because it's hard to say no on the day of.
Well, yeah, and you're putting it on your body for life.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so it's kind of like I would like to process this a little bit.
Yeah. And so my chest piece is a little bit bigger than I wanted it, but you know,
But are you
it's hard to
happy
say
with
no
it?
about things. Nah, I've learned to come
Yeah.
to understanding of it. No, that's not the right way to put
Appreciation,
that. Yeah. I
maybe?
mean, I've come to peace with it.
Yeah.
It's become a part of you.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Tats are dope. I don't think I've ever showed mine off. I only got one. It's a mic over my heart. It says MC underneath it because I used to be huge into being a rhythmic poet, aka rapper.
Okay,
And so, you know, that's what I would do, man. And tattoos are cool, man. It's a piece of life. You know, you carry it with you, and it's a story. And I feel like that's a great place to express oneself without being too loud. You know, you express yourself by putting it on you opposed to talking about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
absolutely.
Put it on me so I can talk about it more with people. You know.
Sure.
Flow like water.
And they become more
Well,
accepted
you don't
in the
have to do
workplace.
the accent.
I try. I suck at accents.
Yeah, Art is terrible
you
at
guys are
accents.
gonna have to take
He's
this
got-
one down in a couple of years.
You think?
No, well,
No.
you know, it depends on how you feel about it, really.
Oh, we just send it, bro.
Well, there you go.
We're sending it.
We're
So
sending it. But before we
Wait,
move
what
on
do
to
you- what do you
tattoos,
got?
because I
Okay.
want to talk about tattoos
What
because
do
I
you
think
got?
here's what I think about it. I mean, I've already showed too many of them on this program. I'm not going to do that again.
yeah, and
People
no
have
one
seen
wants
it.
to see your boots or shoes.
I'm not showing my boots or shoes, Art. I'm talking about tats right now, bro. I'm wearing dress shoes today because I'm in the work attire. But
Yeah, they're nice.
thanks, bro.
I do like shoes. I mean, those two things I could talk about forever, actually.
Some boots and shoes. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
see, he gets it.
I'm
No,
a big
but-
Red Wing fan.
No, you do got some fresh kicks on right now.
Thank you, thank you. Just got the mock toes.
Oh yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, those do look good, man.
Yeah, I'm not. I just worked out, so I'm not as fun. And these pants are a little tight. I can't get my leg up as high as the cameras need to see.
Limited
it, you know.
I know
mobility.
the feeling. I've thrown the cowboy boot up here before, and then my hip hurt for like clicked for 3 days.
What brand? Well, you got Ariats. You look like an Ariat guy.
Yeah, that's it. Man, he's almost got me pinned because I love my wallet is Ariat, my jeans are Ariat, but my boots are Justin's.
Okay.
And some people have had some, pushback
Justin's
on
are
that.
good.
They fit me well, man. I like them. I haven't been wearing them much though here recently, just because of the new gig. But going back to the tattoos.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
What the hell was I going to say about those?
You showed
no.
enough of yours
Mine are
off.
Yeah, I'm not
cool.
showing any more of mine.
Yeah.
I've showed too many.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen them, so.
Yeah. We'll show them
All right, so
the Beyond
all right,
Blood
I'm going
one,
to tell.
at
I'm
least.
going to tell him this
At
story.
least when
'cause
we're done, if we don't show it on air.
Damon is, he tunes in, and he still cracks up about the fact when I got the Beyond Blood tattoo, which is a brotherly thing. When I was in there originally, I told the artist, I can't have it hanging below like a T-shirt
Sure.
level line for professional reasons. I was like, it's okay if a little D hangs out because it ends with a D, and the fucking he thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever heard.
Yeah. That's.
He still to this day gives me shit about it. Hey, you got a little D hanging out there,
got a little
Kev.
D hanging out.
I get it. I can handle it. But tattoos have become a little bit more accepted. I feel like in a professional
yeah.
environment.
Yeah, for
At
sure.
one time it was like people would judge you like, oh, you're this or that or the other. You see a lot of people in management roles or sales or whatever it is, CEOs. A tattoo it does not make or break
Yeah,
the
so
person.
you got some ink on your skin.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right. Yeah, I think, like employers have to be okay with it, or they're not going to have anyone to employ at this point. So
That's totally true.
Just got to get with the times, old man.
That's probably the best way to look at it, honestly, is like, okay, well, nobody wants to work, but the guy with the tattoos has a great work ethic, so maybe we should rethink this.
Yeah. And I think I like that people are putting more thoughts into tattoos. I remember when because I trained in Kempo and Jiu-Jitsu when I was a kid, and when you got your black belt in Kempo, a lot of people got tattoos, and they would get the big dragons, and I was talking to one guy, and he made his dragon coming down his arm so that the head would be popping out of his shirts. Because everyone just has little claws hanging out, And he was just like, I don't like that look. I want the head to be popping out. I was like,
So we got
now you're
a
thinking
little
about
D
it, bud.
popping out, a little head popping
Yeah,
out.
he's got a little head popping out. Mine's just like water flowing.
Seeing a common theme. No, but that tattoo's badass, dude.
That is
Thanks for showing
badass.
that on the air, for sure. That's cool.
So I kind of had a question, and then we got into the tattoo talk. But going back to knowledge, like what was the subject in which created this love for new knowledge? Like what were you learning that opened up that horizon?
Well, Bruce Lee said all knowledge is self-knowledge, ultimately. And No, I just wanted to say that. Yeah, I mean, I love Bruce Lee. I mean, I watched all, the Lost Interview is something I go back to all the time.
Okay.
And listen to because there's just so much there. I love it. I also went to therapy for like almost 10 years, so that just recently stopped for me. When I moved to Denver, I had a friend who was like, you should check out People House. They do like a sliding scale, and I started doing that, and then just like really this journey of self-discovery started for me. Deconstructing family dynamics, and then ultimately learning about myself, and that's my not mental intelligence, my self-knowledge and like emotional intelligence.
Okay, yeah.
Just grew a lot, and I enjoy that. I really enjoy that a lot.
Well, I mean, that's such an interesting area to start discovering in, is like, because growing up as children, we are not consciously thinking about a family dynamic and how that's forming us, right?
Yeah.
We're just in it. And as you grow older, then you start to realize your individuality, and you start to realize, maybe I don't hold the same values, or maybe different values than my family does. And once you start critiquing and going into your own thought process and psyche, and being aware of what your subconscious is echoing back to your conscious, like that whole process of learning yourself through critiquing how you think about yourself, it's kind of difficult. Where would you say people should start on that journey?
I mean, yeah, definitely check it. I mean, I think everybody should go to therapy. I mean, I started when I was like 23, and it changed my life. The best choice I made in my adult life.
Okay.
I'm in the relationship I am now because of it. I have the relationship with my family that I do now because of that. And just getting perspective on yourself and things like that. It's invaluable, and it'll serve you as much as you can. I mean, as much as anything can. But
I mean, like, a lot of people want to like be too proud. Like, I'm strong enough to handle this by myself, or I know the right thing to do.
And some of that comes from just conditioning and the way you're brought up, Because I would agree with you, man. I got to be honest. I've talked about this on this show a few times. I come from a strong background of anger management, alcoholism, And so for me, therapy is still something I'm considering going back to because of the level of productivity that I felt from it. Just being... it's always one of those things like there's not just one right way to solve the problems,
sure.
Right? So that's always the thing. It's like, oh, you're going to go to this class, they're going to teach you the end all be all, Goose Fraba, right? We all saw the movie, great movie, love it.
Anger management.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. So it's like a lot of people might have that mindset, like,
not my favorite Adam Sandler, but yeah,
so good.
That scene of Nicholson though, doing the like,
where he's getting excited, when he's setting up the situation. Great movie.
I love that part. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good, man. I was just echoing off the fact that therapy has been super beneficial for me too, and I still tease the idea of going back to it just because for different reasons now, right? Like you said, it helps you to identify strengths, weaknesses, yourself, kind of understand what's going on and break it down because there's just a lot of layers to it, and there's no shame in it. For a lot of years, and depending on the cultures, a lot of people looked at it as weakness, having to go and talk about this stuff, and so that added layers to it too. But for me, man, it was life-changing as well.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most things. It's a shame that people view it as a weakness because, I mean, it's so beneficial and so helpful. It's it's a complete opposite of what it is. I mean, you're working on yourself, and, like, what else? What's harder than looking within, and really facing yourself? And, that's and it's just, I've heard a lot of people talk about, like, exercising. So you go to the gym a couple times a week and do your mental health. Do something for your mental health once a week, going in and talking about stuff. And unfortunately people wait till, they have a really big problem.
That's true.
And then, that's, not, you don't have to wait for something big to go wrong, to work on yourself. I don't know. Yeah, well, going back to the pride thing, I mean, man, that's such a shame that, the thing that's stopping you, I mean, that's going to be a roadblock in your life forever. I mean, if that's like, if that keeps coming up. And I was lucky enough to have people in my life that told me that when I was a kid. He's like, I had this issue with my dad, things like that. I have a bunch of daddy issues, like we all do, something that blew my mind in therapy. I was like, I have daddy issues. She was like, we all have daddy issues. And I was like, whoa.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and just hearing these things that are in your mind that you just take as dogma, but once you hear yourself say it out loud, you're like, wow, that's fucked up. Like, I can't believe I actually think that. Like, of course that doesn't make any sense, and this isn't helping me. And deconstructing things that helped you as a kid, that don't serve you now, things like that. It's great. And I mean, I think just going back to like comedy stuff, I think comics look in all the time, and I mean, that's how you get material, is by looking within and looking at the world in through a comics lens, which is very introspective.
Yeah.
I think, and that's good comedy can come from that.
And very relatable too.
Yeah.
I feel like that my favorite comedy is something I can relate to.
Right.
Like Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians of all time. And every time I hear the man speak, I'm like, yes, he's speaking my language, right? He's talking real shit, real scenarios that I've been through.
And he's gone through plenty of therapy. If you listen to his podcast, he talks about going to therapy.
Absolutely.
You don't get that amount of insight without having gone through some shit.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That's what the battle wounds and the scars and just going through the motions. That's what it is, and it does create great content that people can relate to. So
right. Yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking the type of language I love to talk about on here. Having a platform such as a podcast, you have an opportunity to speak to the public and to talk about self-building and self-awareness. I feel like that's so often just kind of like, oh, you're working on yourself, you're weak sort of thing. But that's the thing is like, I say affirmations to myself daily. But if I was to be sitting here saying that out loud constantly, people would think I'm crazy.
Sure.
So it's like you have to find a way to be able to dive into your own psyche while also portraying, a level of like, I'm not working on myself super hard. It's different. It's just different, man. And, so with where society's at, people are afraid to be bored nowadays. Like we all have our phone, like we all have the TV, we all work on a computer, and so we're constantly in front of a screen. We're constantly running away from our own thoughts, you could say. And so I feel like challenge yourself by entertaining yourself. You're feeling bored, so you're going to the screen. It's time to, instead of going to a screen with boredom, it's time to look inward and try to do something a little bit different, because all that's a facade. All the screens, all that stuff constantly, it's a facade. There's a lot of fakeness, satire out there. But, if you're using that to try to fill up your tank, your quote unquote like tank of how you feel good as a human being, then you're giving yourself diluted fuel. Like you need to face your boredom, face yourself, and take time to like have this inside battle, because we all know the right thing to do. Like we all know that and feel that deep down, but then I feel like we all battle and make excuses why not to, and like that's where, like, within the boredom that we feel in the current society, that's where you can take that time for yourself. Like, you're feeling bored, you want to pick up a screen and look at it. How about you take that 5 minutes to build on yourself, be critical about yourself, but also love yourself at the same time?
Right, yeah, that self-love is important. Yeah, I think, going at the beginning, you're talking a little bit about the affirmations. I think that's good, your self-talk. I think most people are more inclined to have negative self-talk, which is negative affirmations in a way.
But do they even know that they're doing it?
Yeah.
That's because you're using affirmations, regardless if you know it or not.
Yeah.
So I'm echoing on what you're saying.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like it's hard to get into a habit of it, like just like exercising, But then once you get into it, hopefully that it starts building on itself like a snowball effect. And hopefully, but there are so many distractions out there, so many things pulling our attention. It's hard.
It is, man.
Like this podcast right now, we're taking your attention away from yourself.
There you go.
Well, hopefully this puts it back on.
Sure,
on
we're
yourself
working.
A little bit.
I like you brought that full circle. That's a good perspective. You're right, because it does all tie back in.
Yeah.
It's reaching people. It's taking time away. It's what do you want to focus your time and energy on, at the end of the day?
Right.
Something I've said on this cast a lot, you might have heard it, might not. It's a quote that really stuck strong with me, and that's that, generally speaking, people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. And I think that kind of speaks volume, going back to the affirmations and tying all this thing in, because it is hard to look in the mirror and say, hey, man, I'm not real happy with what's going on. So to make a hard change or to acknowledge, like, hey, I need to do something here. It takes a strong commitment. It takes a real hard look at what's not working and where do I want to be. And when we talk about, some of these challenges like social media or the boredom factor that come in there, it kind of fills that void of, well, maybe I don't really need to do that.
Sure.
Right? I can just be complacent with where I'm at. And we've all been, I fell to that, I stay busy throughout the week, but sometimes on the weekends, man, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do shit. I don't want to think about my problems right now. You know?
Yeah, I get it. It's hard. Life's hard.
It is, and things come at us quick, so it's just a tough balance because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
When you need those relaxed times too, like you can't just grind, hustle super hard all day, every day. Like you're gonna burn yourself out. That's a real thing. So even within facing the struggle, like it's okay to, take 10 to 30 minutes relaxing, looking at social media. But it's when you close the app, and then you immediately reopen the app.
Yeah,
that's when you know.
That's the addictive behavior.
Yeah,
that develops.
that's when you know that they got you by the noose.
Yeah, I go to Instagram constantly. It's no one's perfect, like you said. We're all just doing our best. I just listened to that book, The Four Agreements, and
I feel like I've heard about that one.
Yeah, tell us about that.
It's like these 4 principles on living. Just how you should live your life, kind of thing. I do listen to a lot of self-help kind of stuff as well. I think it helps me. I enjoy it.
Oh, me too. Yeah, 4 days out of the week, I'm listening to self-motivation in the morning.
Yeah. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. I think I heard about this on Rogan. So if you guys are Rogan fans, you probably heard it on there. Be impeccable with your word. So just being honest with yourself and saying what you mean. Being honest and all that jazz. And there's some more nuanced stuff to it, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. The second one is I can't remember the second one. The third one is to always do your best. Always do your best is the last one. So it's like, you might fail at some of these, but as long as you're trying your best,
yes.
Kind of thing. We're always going to stumble, we'll fall, but get back up and do your best is, that's a nice piece of grace at the end,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I could have been more honest with my spouse or whatever, but, tomorrow I can do better or whatever,
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really putting this book to shame by not remembering the other 2. Always do your best. Be impeccable with your word. Can I look it up on my phone? You guys care?
You can.
Yeah, pull it up, man.
But that's okay, man, because I feel like there's a lot of information to be had out there, and one of my top self-help books, which I feel like is the rest of the iceberg. Like I've read some self-help books, which I felt like were the tip of the iceberg.
Are you going power versus force or
power versus force?
Yeah.
The hidden detriments of human
Strong.
behavior.
Interesting.
And I'm just gonna fill this in until you find those.
Okay.
But with that, dude, that book explains through kinesiology, like how your muscles interact with your thought process. And there's just so much deep information in there, like the type of word that you're using. I could say fortunate or I could say lucky, and those are going to make a huge impact on the conversation. Little word changes, big impacts, positive mentality. It's just that book blew my mind, and I am nowhere near where I need to be, but I feel like that book helped me at least start walking that path.
Helped you be aware.
Sure. Yeah. That's that's always the first step. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally, which is extremely hard.
That is a huge one.
Right.
No, hold on. Let's dive into that one just a little bit because this whole thing about taking someone else's opinion of you personally is absolutely just ridiculous.
That's something that when you guys, I was just listening to this last pod, and you guys do say perception is reality a lot. And in my therapy, we're talking about the phrase, what other people think about you is none of your business. Because I read like The Game and stuff when I was a kid, and like a big thing I got out of that was perception is reality. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, what are other people thinking about me? And as a comedian, I'm constantly like, how's the audience seeing me? How are they reacting to me? Things like that. And so my therapist was like, have you ever heard that saying, what other people think about you is none of your business? Because truly, you can't really ever control it.
True.
I could be the nicest guy to a person I just met and they could think I'm a creep or whatever. They'd be like, oh, that guy tries too hard. It's like, okay, well, all I can do is what I can do. All I control is myself. And like, so there's that layer to it. And then with the not taking anything personally, he also talks about like even compliments, like your own self-worth should come from yourself, not outside validation.
Yes.
Just as well, which is harder for me. Because if you guys are like, oh, I like your hat, then I'm like, okay, I feel good.
No, but that's a
compliments.
bitchin' hat, though. Seriously.
I
that's a good hat.
think. I know, right?
Hey, you look great, man.
Thank you.
We even got you to strip down a little bit during the
Yeah,
set.
you know, I should just like my own tattoo. I shouldn't have to show all these people.
Shit, by the end, you might be topless. We're going to be seeing all the tattoos.
Yeah, keep complimenting me.
Well, if he was drinking some of the roses that you brought.
I don't need it. Just I'll get drunk on compliments.
He's high on life right now.
Your glasses are amazing. I feel like
Thank you,
they
thank
bring out
you.
the color in your eyes,
Well,
the
see,
frame and the eyes.
I want to keep them on now. It's
Yeah.
less incentive to take them off. Yeah, so that not taking things personally goes both ways.
Yes.
It does. Absolutely, it does, man. And you're right, because I've dealt with this on my end for the last few years more so than ever. I don't do well with compliments. They make me uncomfortable. Because it's like, I don't know. Let me think about this, because I want to give a real honest answer right now. When somebody gives me a compliment, I feel uncomfortable because I don't know if I'm obligated to return the compliment, if I should just say thank you, I appreciate that. You know, so usually, and I know, Art, you've seen me do this live action, it's just like, oh, that's a nice thing to say. You know, because it puts me in a weird place. Like, compliments make me uncomfortable.
Right.
I don't really know what that means.
For me, when I get compliments, sometimes I'm like, okay, then they're expecting something from me. So this like unknown expectation makes me nervous.
Maybe that's what I'm feeling.
I don't know if that resonates with you at all, but that's something.
Dude, we're having therapy right now.
Well, you know.
Yeah,
I need it.
I've had plenty.
DCPC is my weekly therapy session. I get to come in here and talk about anything that's bothering me this week, dive into it, like how am I handling this?
Sure.
You know, so I feel very blessed to have this platform. But to tie it back into the taking things personally thing, like, you know,
Not taking things personally.
yeah, not taking things personally is someone could just be having the worst day of their life, and you just are. I mean, I know I've had a horrible energy before, and I am not the nicest to strangers in that moment because my day is not that great.
Yeah.
And so, like, I consider that and think about that whenever anybody else is in that mode. And it's like what you said, to basically to judge yourself on somebody else's opinion of you is a horrible place to start. From your own opinion. You know, build that strength from within.
Right. Yeah.
So that was number 2 on there, right?
Yeah. Not taking things personally.
It's a strong one.
That is a good one. I'm happy we
Very
dived
strong.
into that too, because there's a lot of importance there for sure.
And then not making assumptions as the third one.
Okay.
Very strong.
Yeah, because if I assume something about you guys or whatever, it's I'm coming in with a bias. I'm not being open to the my cup's full at that point of my own false expectations. And that's hard. That's hard for me. Like I said, I was jealous of John, being on the pod all the time, or if I'm like, oh, what are his numbers? What are the, with podcasting, I'm constantly like, what are these people doing that I'm not doing or whatever, I have assumptions, and then it taints, what could be a really good experience of collaboration at that point, As a comic, I do it all the time as well. Like, oh, this person was good before me, and like, is that gonna make me? Or they did a pot joke, and I have a pot joke, like, it might not
gonna
do
hit the same.
Yeah. It's just
But I feel like that's natural. That's a natural thing that we all experience.
Sure,
like we all compare ourselves. But that's part of the challenge of having the self-awareness, the self-confidence that doesn't come from an outside perspective. Because once you start judging yourself on your own actions, not how people think about you. But that is a challenge to do that, because you have to pull yourself out of this normalized way of thinking. Because if you're being conscious about how you're perceiving it, unless you're conscious about that, then you're going to fall into the standard, which is comparing your life to others. Like, that's what everybody does naturally.
And it's difficult too. I mean, it's not an easy thing to just say, okay, I'm going to flip that switch, right?
Right.
It just isn't. I mean, we get out of this life what we are, not what we want. And somebody else's opinion of you does not become a reality, right? Those are all easy statements to say, but we still are our backs against the wall at sometimes. If someone comes out of the gate and starts talking shit, I mean, I've seen it live action, especially on this show. There's a lot of people that think I'm just a dumb hillbilly, and I have radical opinions, and that's all well and good. I like it. It's good to get people talking. But man, if a few years ago, that would have really bothered me.
Sure.
So it's also important to acknowledge with that it is not just that easy to just say, okay, that cliche statement is now my reality. It is. It takes time. It takes awareness, and it takes repetition.
Yeah, that's growth, and
Yeah.
you're
Totally,
doing your
man.
best. There you go. I'm gonna try not to compare this episode to John's episodes. I'm trying not to expect too much.
I mean, John didn't come in here with the fly ass hat and stuff. So, he had a leather jacket, which was, that was still fresh. John, don't get us twisted.
Right.
But that's the fun of friendship, man. Is
The fun of friendship.
That's the fun of friendship.
That's another podcast right there.
Oh, the fun of friendship. And
Hashtag.
it's just dogging on each other the whole time.
That's a huge hashtag out of this one. I can already tell.
I don't know what is the best part of friendship. Would you say?
Companionship, camaraderie, loyalty, some kind of mutual shared experience. Camaraderie through shared experience.
Those are good highlights for sure. Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's kind of a silly question, but I feel like with how technology is, like, there's all these fake friends, like people that are not truly friends. They're actually an acquaintance, and they don't have your best intention in mind. It's hard to find people. It's hard to find people that care and to build that camaraderie, especially as you grow older. It's just kind of difficult, man. But through this, this podcast, like through your podcasts, I'm sure that you've built a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
And that's one beautiful thing about this specific niche of entertainment is, like, I feel like every single time that we sit down and chat with an awesome person, like with you, or I'll say John again because we've been mentioning him a couple times. Like
We'll throw John some love.
Yeah, the connections, but yeah, sure, he deserves a little bit.
We've been ripping on him.
Yeah, he does. He's done a lot.
Go ahead.
But you guys, you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be friends. You can have my number.
Oh,
Is that where you're going?
Yes, I would. I'm gonna take that down.
This was
once
such
we're
a
finished.
successful first date. I really feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot like dating in the way. Podcasts, you're like, I hope they're gonna go well.
Yeah.
Do I look nice? Is the place clean? It is. There's a lot of parallels.
Is the place clean?
It's great observations, man, for sure. And I think all of us in this room can relate to that exact statement. But underneath it all, it's been, for me, man, it's been just the most, I don't know if rewarding is the right word, but like I've received so many great things, meeting great people, learning new experiences, looking at things from a different perspective, being lucrative with a critical eye, all those things. If it wasn't for the podcasting business, I really feel like I would have been stuck in that kind of dark mentality that I talked about a little bit with my therapy I went through. This has given me a platform to open up and just share things. And I think it's helpful for everybody.
Sure.
To bounce ideas off each other, be real, be live action. That's the beauty of it for sure. So, not trying to soapbox or anything. But
No. I think those are the things I latched onto when I've listened. You guys talk a little bit about addiction and things like that, and I'm always like, I'm just more sensitive to those things. So I was like, oh, this might be a good thing to talk about here. I don't know. I feel.
I mean, it's about talking about real stuff, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's real.
How many times did I lie to myself about my own addiction? But when you come and put it on wax and you come and record that and you hold yourself accountable and you're coming back next week and you're trying to, be honest about your experiences to maybe, because dude, I enjoy coming in here every Wednesday. We record on Wednesdays, drops on Thursdays. The matter of fact is that I love my time here. Like, that's the most important thing to me, is I am happy and I have fun here, and it's helped create like that whole energy of me enjoying life. And so regardless of the numbers, like, I'm gonna be here. Regardless of how much traction we get, I'm gonna be here. And if I can share a piece of myself, which was a struggle for myself a long time, like, if we could just help one person, just one day, help one person one day, then I feel like out of doing something that makes me happy, and then you're also benefiting somebody else's life, you got to be real, man. You got to be transparent. And that was one of the things of the four things that you just mentioned. The four, what was?
The 4 agreements.
The 4 agreements. Yeah, that was one of them, was being like critical with yourself. I mean, it was, I know that
being
wasn't
impeccable with your word. I mean, that's all part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I resonate a lot with that. I mean, I enjoy the podcasting thing, and if I think ultimately that's like, not success in life. I mean, I do think it is a success. And if you could just do it in what you enjoy, and if that helps other people, then like that's even better, So I think it's good. I think that's a sign you're on the right path. And I mean, I've been talking into a microphone for a long time now as well, and I just enjoy it, and I keep coming back. And it's some people may say I desperately need the approval of strangers, but also I enjoy it. So, I mean, it can be enjoyable. I'm thinking about stand-up more at this point than just the podcasting.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of feedback on the podcast, so.
So do you get a lot of people after you're finished with your skits session, your stand-up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skits?
I don't know, how much of a stand-up is. Pardon me.
It's okay.
So do you ever get a lot of people coming in afterwards that are like offended or, hey, I don't, or this reached me, or, I mean, because you're talking about criticism, and it's more, you hear more with the comedian stuff. So how do you hear that criticism?
I've got, I mean, when I do open mics, it's just like a bar where people are just listening and you're trying out new jokes, things like that.
Okay.
Jokes are a lot more rawer, and you're trying to find out where the line is and what works and what doesn't. So I've had more people come up in that kind of situation, and you're basically getting it like immediately. You'll say something, and then someone else will tag it, or be like, "Hey, that's blah blah blah," or "I don't like that," or it's like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you." I don't know. I was at Irish Rover on Mondays. There's an open mic there, and I was talking about how there's a new rec center at where I live, but it's conjoined with our brand new police station. I was like, it's like a Taco Bell Pizza Hut. And then this girl's like, hey, what's wrong with Pizza Hut? And I'm like, you're focusing on the wrong part of the joke. Pizza Hut's great. I mean, I worked at a Taco Bell. When I was younger, I was a manager at Taco Bell. We can get into that if you want. But I was like, that's, people don't hesitate to talk back to you on stage.
Wait, so do you still eat Taco Bell after being a manager at Taco Bell?
No, not at all.
Okay.
You don't eat it at all?
No, I mean, I've had it maybe twice within the last 10 plus years since I worked there.
Okay.
Every now and then I think a gordita crunch sounds good, but
I like the quesadilla. That's usually what I go with if I'm going to do it. But I'm usually hammered, and everything tastes good when you're drunk.
I go to like it's the Taco Head on like Alameda. Have you guys been to one of those? Tacos Rapidos?
I've been there.
I haven't been to that one.
There's one by my house.
I love tacos.
I go there all the time.
I love tacos.
That's where you want to go, buddy.
I need to go there.
Yeah, level up. Yeah,
I need
Tacos
to level up,
Rapidos.
bro.
It's time to level up.
Yeah, I've been there, so I like.
You'll see. It's a little mariachi guy, but it's like his head is a taco, and he's got a little hat.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
We're going there.
So I feel like when I level up, I become more powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Quotes.
Yeah, I get a little more powerful.
Oh, in
Shout out to
the
Justin Fines over
farts
there.
region.
Yeah, giving him a little thing there.
Yeah.
Okay, so since the opiate thing, I'm gonna talk about that lightly. So ever since I finished that and finally overcame that fucking struggle with that, now the new ones. These are the new ones that I'm dealing with. It's the food addiction, like just wanting to eat. I still stay strong on Bob Marley, so yeah, I'm hungry, and it's the booze.
Okay.
It's the booze. It's the booze and the foods, and those are the new things.
And then you get the munchies. That's what you meant by the whole Bob Marley thing.
Me and Bob Marley, we dance
It's like,
every day.
why are you being? The innuendos are so intricate.
Hey man, if people can't pick it up, then they're not.
Be impeccable with your word, my friend. Say what you mean.
That's right. That's part of the 4.
I know, but it's difficult.
I know.
I come from background of sales.
Yeah, but your advertising is like a cannabis product, so. Right?
True.
Or do you not want to? I mean, am I getting in some?
No, that's good constructive criticism right there.
No,
I'm
like
just
that.
saying.
I like that.
That's
I
constructive
don't think there's
criticism.
any reason not to.
So I should just say that I'm eating edibles and hungry.
Yeah, that you partake in the marijuana.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to say things real simple, JD. This is how I do it. He does marijuana. I do alcohol.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
I
where we're
get
at.
it. Now we're on the same page.
See?
There we go.
See,
but I like to make people's minds work a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, it
because-
took me a second to get it.
I mean, because when you live life reading in between the lines, you're technically filling in the blanks. That's how I like. That's how I like to live, man.
That's I like the sales pitch there.
Yeah,
I do.
I get it.
And I've known this guy a long time, so I know how he talks.
But
Right,
I
right.
try to
There's a
come up with a
learning
lot of things, and most of it doesn't work. Okay, so it's always an experiment.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to make any assumptions, so I wanted to be clear.
Hey, no, I do appreciate that, but I don't know how I got on the foodie and.
Well, we're talking about addictions, and food is definitely a big one for me as well.
Yeah, and sugars, so that's one thing that I've gotten better at cutting out is the bag of M&Ms or the gummy bears. Dude, when Kevin met me, I would always have like some Skittles in my pocket.
Dude, you were snacking constantly.
Skittles in your pocket?
Yeah.
Like in the bag, or were they loose Skittles in your pocket?
There might be a couple loose ones, but they came from the bag.
Wow.
That does determine a lot about a person's
Yeah,
character.
yeah, there's a-
Is the bag in your pocket, or are they loose in the pocket?
yeah.
I have put some loose candy
That's
in my
fine.
pocket
That's
before
fine.
that.
Yeah, we've all been there.
You look like the type of dude that would have Dunkaroos in your pocket, I feel like.
Whoa.
But that's like a whole contraption. I'm not wearing Jinkos anymore.
All right,
so,
fair.
like,
That's fair. Maybe I'm going.
yeah,
I'm dating myself here.
Require a big-
Dunkaroos did rule, though.
Yeah. They're bringing them back. I had the Dunkaroos cereal not too long ago.
Did you really? Was it good?
I mean, it was fine. It was just a sugary cereal. It tasted a lot like the Captain Crunch donuts, which I
Okay. I
enjoyed.
haven't
That was a
tried that
couple years
either.
ago. Yeah, we did a sandwich, or you guys talked about sandwiches as well, so I was thinking about that. But we did a cereal bracket on those Chupacabros,
Okay.
like a March Madness type bracket, but with cereals. And we weren't required to try them all, but I've been thinking about cereal nonstop since we did it.
I love cereal.
So
Yeah.
I asked this a couple of weeks ago. I think maybe off mic, but I asked Kevin. I want to ask you, what's your top 3 cereals when you were a child,
This is
and
a tough one.
what's your top 3 now that you're an adult?
I mean, it'd be the same because I don't really eat cereal anymore. I try to
Okay.
eat eggs in the morning, maybe an oatmeal. Do you guys know Malto Meal? This
Yes.
is what I was
Yes.
gonna. I feel like it was like a Bernstein Bears / Mandela effect on the podcast because I was like, I had chocolate Malto Meal a lot when I was a kid, and I thought it'd be fun to throw in like warm cereals, and they were like, I don't know what the fuck this is. You're making it up. Like they kept fucking going at me like that, and I was like, it's a thing, right? You guys know chocolate Malto Meal, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
right, okay. So that was probably one of them as a kid. I went to that a lot. I loved the peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Oh, yes.
That's a hitter.
Yeah. And Cookie
Oh
Crisp.
wait, those ones are like the peanut butter Captain Crunch. Those ones are like in a little square shape.
No, they're little puffs, little balls.
They're like, yeah.
So the Reese's Puff cereal.
But it's not Reese's.
No, they're not Reese's. Yeah, it's a Captain Crunch brand.
Okay.
And the Reese's, I think, is just going off a lot of goodwill of the candy. I don't think they're any better than.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, my humble opinion.
No, that's okay. Everybody has their own.
Sure, thank you.
You
The
know?
sweet cereals have always. I mean, even when I was a kid. I mean, I like Cocoa Pebbles and
Dude,
shit.
yes, the density, like all the yeah, that's great. They have the 50th birthday ones coming out right
Really?
now at the store. Yeah, when's the last time you went to a store, man? They're all over the place.
Didn't
Dude,
you
I-
used to work in one of
I
those?
used to be in the grocery business. What the fuck am I doing?
No, I'm just curious. I was like, I can't help but notice it, but maybe it's because I have more sugar on my mind than you do.
A little bit.
We could, yeah, because sugary cereals were like, going back to Arthur. 3 as a kid, I was a sugary guy, and then 3 as an adult, now I eat like a grandpa. I like the fucking grape nuts.
You like grape nuts.
I like
you
special.
go to that.
I like Special K. That I'm going from 3 to 1.
Okay, sorry.
So then Special K, Raisin Bran. I eat grandpa cereals now,
Dude,
JD.
Raisin
What am I
Bran's
doing?
good. That was a
Raisin Bran's good.
big argument on the podcast. It was Raisin Bran versus Kix is what came up in the bracket.
Oh,
What do you
Raisin Bran
think?
all the way, bro.
Right.
I mean, when I was a kid, is Kicks, but
Yeah.
Raisin Bran.
Kid
nowadays.
tested, mother approved. I get
Plain,
it.
Yeah.
plain Kicks suck, though. They tasted
Right.
like
Dude, the fruity Kicks were good.
those rules.
But I was like, Raisin Bran is an institution. Raisin Bran got us through the war. Like, Raisin Bran has been around. And they're like, no, Kicks. We love little kid stuff. Their favorite sandwich is a peanut butter and jelly because they're toddlers. But
This is how you make a peanut butter jelly an adult sandwich. Crunchy peanut butter.
sure. Yeah.
I was throwing that out there. It didn't stick like I thought it would.
Here's the thing,
I was
though.
hoping.
Because that can be dicey depending on, I haven't had a PB&J in a while. I loved it as a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really
I get
did,
it.
man. I ate a lot of them. I get what you're saying with the crunchy. I think you need to balance it like medium. So you do one side of the bread smooth,
Okay.
the other side of the
Whoa.
bread crunchy, bro.
You're doing both sides?
Yeah.
You're putting
So
peanut butter on both sides of the bread.
No, but that's a
but
pack,
not heavy, not heavy.
But that's a packed
Just a coat.
sandwich
Just a
for
coat.
later. That's how you pack your PB&J for later.
so that the bread doesn't get soggy?
Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly.
There it is, because the jelly will fuck your bread up.
Sure.
Especially
Yeah,
if you're doing white bread, dude, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You
I
need
always
that
remember
thick bread.
seeing the stain, the spot where the jelly soaked through on the sandwich, you know?
Yes. It'd be like this awkward purple. It looked like one
go-
of those like liver spots on
Yeah.
a real person.
You going
Yeah.
grape jelly or strawberry jelly?
I'm going strawberry.
Dude, yeah, strawberry.
Man, they're both good.
I mean, grape is good. Come on, man. But all the berries, strawberry, raspberries.
Are we talking jam or jelly? That's
Jelly, yeah, for it's a classic PB&J.
strawberry.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
strawberry.
I mean, come on.
all right,
That's a tough
we're all
one.
here. We should all get strawberries tattooed on us somewhere.
Okay. I want to put it
A
somewhere.
Smucker's jar. I do it. With
Where would
calf.
I put my strawberry?
Smuckers,
On
yeah.
the calf?
Yeah, I think you got good games. I feel like.
Dude,
You
actually.
put it on there, bro.
Actually,
You're not doing your calves.
No.
No one wants to see those, Arthur.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, show them.
Okay, yeah.
No, we're not doing this on.
You look
He
like a
says-
buff guy, but your calves are good.
No, I'm a powerful guy because I eat a lot.
Arthur has a lot
But
of
you
power.
got like a muscular build, yeah. Unless it's those classic tees that's working for you.
Hey, no, I'm not wearing one
True
under.
classic tees or whatever.
What? No, it's a pair of thieves.
Okay, gotcha. My bad.
That's the one. It's so soft. That's the underwear I wear. It's fantastic. But no, I like to make a joke that I feel like the best feature I have on my body is my calf.
All right, let's see it.
And
I get it.
I don't know how to put this on camera, man. I just
Stand up on that
You're a
chair.
smart guy, Art. You'll figure it out.
here because people can
Just
see
have to
this
post
over
it later
here.
to the Instagram or
People
something.
can see this over here. So you still can't see the calf. Wait,
Get on the
It's
table.
there. It's there.
Get on the table.
you can kind of see it.
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
Get on the
yeah,
table,
dude.
dude. That coyote ugly.
It's kind of in there. You know.
Yeah,
I can't
I can
believe
see
I'm
the
doing this.
definition.
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
Sure.
I appreciate that. I'm
that's-
starting to get red in my face now.
That's what's great about having guests like JD because he's getting you out of your comfort zone. And that's what we like around here.
Well, I kept talking about how good his glasses look with his eyes, and that hat is popping and shit. Like
And I
he
was
had
like,
to,
show me your calves.
he had to get back at me, man.
Man,
Come on.
We're getting to know each other real quick.
Well, you didn't say your cereals. I don't want to keep you out of this.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, for me, I like to eat my cereal without milk. And yeah,
Dry guy.
maybe
Ugh.
in the pocket, just roaming around.
Again, just loose,
I knew it.
loose things you can nibble on in
You
your
look
pocket.
like a guy that would carry granola in your pocket just to snack
Ugh.
on it.
It's interesting.
Yes.
It's like you're in a hurry. You're a guy on the go.
Yeah, but
you always want to
wanna-
snack.
I still want to savor the flavor.
Sure.
And so the best
Flavor.
the best dry cereals outside of milk, as I would go Cocoa Puffs, right?
Yeah.
Those were super good.
Uh-huh.
I already mentioned it. The Reese's Pieces, those ones, and then you gotta throw, you must throw Cinnamon Toast Crunch up in
Yes,
there.
I was gonna say that's one I forgot.
that's a
That's a
good
good
one.
one.
That one gets messy in the pocket. The lint connects to that, so that one you want to keep in a
Yeah,
bag.
that one's you get dust on your hand. It's a whole thing.
It's a messy situation. It has to be contained in a bowl.
Yeah, that's why you want the milk. I mean, because then the milk's the best. That did win the bracket when we.
Cinnamon
Oh,
Toast
nice.
Crunch
Yeah,
did?
I mean,
Yeah.
how could
Yeah, that's a tough
clutch.
competitor.
What kind of milk you going for? That was another big debate.
2%?
I went
That's
whole. Whole, baby.
Everyone's
Yeah,
going
whole,
whole?
brother. All the way.
Okay.
Bones.
Gotta go
Think
whole,
about your
dude.
bones.
okay?
Have you ever done water?
I have done. So I'll be honest with you. I haven't done water.
Please.
But here's where I got a little bit influenced by Ashton Kutcher on The Ranch on Netflix. He did beer in his Cheerios, and he called it Beerios. And I was like, I want to try that. So I took not the Honey Nut, the original Cheerios,
Right,
poured a
Honey
little bit
Nut's
of Bud Light in
superior,
there,
yeah.
and I started eating it, and it was the very odd combination.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds like something that sounds good on a show, but not real.
It wasn't good. I'm not going to recommend it. But I haven't done water. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to cinnamon toast or the apple cinnamon Cheerios. I forgot about those. I argued
Dude, I
hard
haven't
for
had
those.
in years.
Come on,
So
Apple
good.
Jacks right in the same category.
Yeah, I was one. Apples. My brother liked Apple Jack, so we always took different things. So I was like,
Do you remember O's?
O's. I think it was after my time.
Was it?
That was like the cheap Oreo brand, wasn't
No,
it?
Arthur, it wasn't. It was a cereal. It was because when I was picturing the Apple Jacks, like the shape of it, O's were kind of that same consistency, but it was like a honey nut cluster in the
Right.
in that
I,
shape.
I can picture the thing, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never had them. No.
Come on, as adults, like how have none of us said Honey Bunches of Oats for our favorite adult cereal
I
yet?
did like that.
love
we
Honey
didn't really
Bunches
get
of
no favorite adult cereals.
Oh,
Those
okay.
kids-
It
Cereal?
seems like well, you did it. Yeah,
I did. I
feel
went
like,
grandpa. I know.
Yeah.
Fucking grape nuts. Who is this guy?
Why don't you go protein in the morning? Some eggs,
I do like to do
maybe
that.
some overnight oats.
Yeah, I do
Overnight
love
oats
oatmeal.
are delicious.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, dude, is
a lot
I
of carbs.
struggle with eating in the morning.
Okay, one of those guys.
Yeah, like if it's early, if I have to be somewhere real early, eating is tough. If it's a 9 a.m. arrival, I could probably squeeze it in. But if I have to be up early, like just food in the morning is tough. Like coffee, I'll do that. But I'm kind of a functioning alcoholic, so in the mornings I'm struggling.
Sure, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So one thing that I've never understood is why eggs are considered vegetarian. I know I've brought this up
They're not.
before.
I don't think so. Yeah.
If you look up eggs, it says that they're vegetarian.
I think there's a gray area there that really needs to be because I have heard that too, Art. Now that you mention it,
He's pulling it out.
Because a lot of vegetarians will say yes. I've talked to vegetarians that say I won't eat red meat.
So
but
it's
I'll
not
do
vegan, but it's vegetarian.
Vegan is zero animal involvement.
Yeah, so it's not vegan, but it is vegetarian.
But the problem is the definition
never
of
understood
vegetarian
that.
is still kind of that's where the gray area is. Because I have talked.
According
What
to
do you-
Google, since they are not technically animal flesh, eggs are usually thought of as vegetarian.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
Because it hasn't grown into a human. Or a person. I mean, an animal. I don't eat people. What? Oh my god! I need to leave.
going.
I'm sorry.
Keep going. This is turning into something fun here. But how do people taste? It really probably depends. It probably depends
Now we've got
on
another
their
podcast
diet.
I want to be on.
Yeah, it's their diet. Like,
What is this, Hannibal Lecter?
So I think I would rather eat somebody that was a vegetarian
You would eat them?
over somebody who ate McDonald's their whole life.
I don't know
Right,
about that.
right.
That meat's gonna taste better.
Is it though? I mean, you're talking about
I
cannibalism.
mean, if we're going, well, yeah, but we're all animals. So
Come on,
if we're
yeah.
going by like what grass-fed beef, grass-fed person,
so you think a
it makes
plant-based
sense.
person would taste better than like a red meat-fed
it
person?
makes sense because it's cleaner. It's a cleaner product going in. You're getting a
Yes.
cleaner product
Coming out.
going
I
out.
want to eat somebody that was very good to themselves their entire life.
Sure, yeah,
they,
yeah.
they weren't super stressed out. They
I
used
get that.
positive affirmation. That's going to be
Yeah.
the prime cut.
They didn't see the death coming, so the adrenaline doesn't taint the meat.
Yes.
Well, this episode's definitely not going to be monetized.
No, they won't listen this far. Don't say that out loud. As the transcriber's working, they're like, wait, hold on now.
I like meat.
You guys get it transcribed? Someone emailed me about getting my podcast transcribed at some point, and I was like, well, I don't see the point.
I don't either.
Yeah.
What's the point? What do you do with that information? I mean,
For people without ears, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's closed captioning options, I suppose. Which
Right, which I guess is transcribing.
kind of transcribing.
Is transcribing.
So maybe I don't know, I'm 50-50 on it. But like reading the transcript of the episode kind of takes away from the experience, right? You're not hearing
Yeah,
the
I don't-
tones,
yeah.
inflections.
It's a different medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you talk? I mean, people would be taking us seriously about eating people right now if they couldn't hear it.
Right,
If they
right.
were just
If
reading
they were
it.
reading that
Yeah.
transcript, it wouldn't look good.
They're like, oh my God, these guys, I'm never going to Denver to DTC to record in here.
Right, right, yeah.
Oh,
There's a big freezer
there
for
is.
the people.
Yeah.
We're recording in a big freezer. Yeah, take down these black curtains, and it's just we're in a freezer, just like Rocky.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect us to go down this road. This was
That's
fantastic.
that's the beauty of podcasting.
And that's the beauty of getting to know people. So, pleasure to get to know you. We're gonna keep it running. So these cards were given to us from a longtime listener. Okay,
yeah, Marie.
Marie. Thank
Shout
you.
out Marie.
Yeah, shout out to Marie. Thank you so much
She
for
sent us this
listening
box.
every single week and being such a great listener and supporter and telling Kevin stuff and giving us raunchy would you rather cards.
Yeah, so this is, because obviously Would You Rather has been a segment of our show for a while. This is a debut, guys. We haven't done this yet. And JD, you're about to feel the pressure, man, because I don't even know what this is going to entail yet.
Sure. Yeah,
But-
but I don't feel pressure.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel a little pressure, and I think it might be gas, but I'm going to hold that till after the episode.
Well, if you got to, you got to.
You don't want to make yourself uncomfortable over there.
Well, no, you don't want to do that, but I don't also want to, make you guys uncomfortable with that. So here's what we're dealing with. We have a Would You Rather Filthy Edition. So that could be, unpleasant or not. And so we're going to just dive into this thing, man, live action, and just see what we're dealing with here. I'm pulling out the first card.
Live action.
Here we go, brother. JD, would you rather have sex like Taco Bell and outside of the bun, quote unquote, or have sex like KFC and be a part of Licking Good?
Oh man, that's a rough one. I think of Taco Bell as sloppy. I don't know. Outside of the bun, I guess never penetration
Okay.
is what I take that as.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I'm still trying to
Yeah,
process
right.
it
I
myself.
do
Yeah,
love
what is it?
penetration.
What does it mean?
Being inside of another person is pretty good. You guys know what I'm saying? You guys having unprotected sex out there? It's great.
I'll give you a high five across the table.
Yeah, you guys get it. You guys married? It's the best. Yeah, but then the finger licking good.
Yeah.
Also, KFC's not the best chicken out there. I'm more of a Popeyes guy.
Okay. Oh, the rice and beans is on point there.
The sandwich is amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess, and again, I worked at a Taco Bell for far too long, and I don't want to be a part of that. Oh, darn it! Sure, KFC then. Okay,
He's
some
going,
KFC.
He's going with that finger looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good analysis there.
No one wears gloves there, so it's unprotected. I think so.
Okay, so we're gonna get all the things.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I would stand on that side of that one, man. I don't even know how to process that question.
I don't know what that question actually means.
I don't know either. We're still trying to dive into this
There's
thing.
like some good gravy drizzling on everything.
I think you kind of sold me on the bun part. Thinking outside of the bun, and that could mean different things for different people. But when I'm going to say something inappropriate, so I probably shouldn't. But penetration rules.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's the best. I mean, have you
ever tried to procreate?
Are you guys worried about this? Yeah. I mean, 2 thumbs up to sex, guys.
Oh,
I mean, we don't have to do anything weird. Just traditional, missionary. As long as you're doing it,
Just get in
it's
there.
great. Yeah, as long as you love the person, have some kind of connection. I think that's when it's the best. And,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and coming inside your wife is great.
It
sounds too Catholic when I say that. I'm married, so that's what I think.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you have a past there already. Us, premarital.
I was just thinking my wife listening to that part. Might not be the best conversation starter.
But that's not how it began.
That's no, it isn't.
I'm gonna go outside of the bun. I'm gonna go sloppy outside of the bun.
You going outside?
Yeah.
I think
he pulls out. Strong pull-out game over here for Arthur.
That's what you would like to think.
that's a tough game.
Do you
to
have
play.
a kid? Or is that what you're going to hit us with?
That's a tough game to play, man. I'm not good at it.
The pulling out game?
I think I am. I'm like, yeah, I fucking rule at it, and then I fail at the game.
Sure. I mean, what game are we playing here?
I don't even know, man. I don't know. I don't do well with those kind of games because I feel like I just, you got to go all the way. What are we doing?
Right. As long as it's consensual, yes.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yes,
Across the table, yes.
Let's make sure that's
It
known.
felt like we had to throw that in there at some point.
Yes.
I'm glad you did, for a lot of different reasons. So
Yeah, this is risky. Let me find the next one.
Marie's listening right now.
All right,
She's
we're
probably cracking up.
Yeah, thanks Marie for creating this monstrosity. All right, so let me see here. Would you rather?
It's good bourbon.
It is good. It's a little sweet, it has like nice.
Yeah, well, I do love sugar.
It's good though.
That's
It's good.
probably why I like it.
It's dark, but it has this sweet. Normally, you don't get that with the darker ones. It's not normally like.
We're still talking about whiskey here, right?
Who knows what we're talking about at this point?
So, would you rather have your gums repeatedly scraped by a dentist, or watch an entire marathon of Dane Cook's stand-up specials?
Oh, Dan Cook all the way. I mean, I think he's overly criticized. I mean, those are some of the. You guys brought up Dan Cook, I think, on the last one. I was listening to it, and or one of the last ones I listened to, and it took me back to when I was a kid driving around with my first girlfriend. We threw in, one of the double album. I can't remember. He has like a sword in his hand. And just laughing to that, it was a good time. That guy got me into comedy in a certain way, like
for sure. Like that first huge
he was
bit
a
that
mega
he did,
star. Yeah,
when he first came out, I would much rather listen to that same first bit that he did, that first show that he did.
Yeah, the pickles and
who
all that
would
shit.
ever pick getting your gums repeatedly scraped by a dentist over than listening to a comedian?
That's
the
an odd
BK
comparison.
Lounge. Come on, I do love Burger King. You guys big Burger King fans?
Oh, come on,
Dude,
man.
I like BK.
Come on, BK.
I don't know if I put it up there.
You
real
get a Whopper
high.
on the way home now. Just
Dude.
saying it.
It's the double cheeseburger bacon. It's like the value.
The double bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah, I
Arthur.
was saying it backwards. I'm dyslexic. So
Listexic.
Lisdexic. It's everything. But yeah, BK.
The BK Lounge.
Now, did you ever have BK, the tacos, the 2 fried tacos for $1?
No.
You never tried that?
No way. I don't go outside of a Whopper when I go to. might have done a chicken sandwich here and there,
Okay.
but
Oh yeah, that long chicken sandwich, the original.
Right,
BK
right.
No, that thing's bomb.
I
Yeah.
always got the other one. They just re-upped. They're like chicken. Everyone's been doing like their own version of chicken sandwich after the Popeyes blew up.
Yes.
But They had a classic chicken sandwich that was pretty good, and then I never saw the long one, so I had a whole nother Mandela effect thing where I never saw it on the menu, but it was still there.
Okay.
Mandela effect.
Anyway,
We've
guys,
covered
I'm
that.
getting too much into this.
No, I think this is good. I really do. And that would you rather just? I mean, that's an easy one. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like.
easy.
Dane Cook,
We're all watching Dane Cook.
fantastic. He's from my neck of the woods up in New England. He started in Boston Comedy Club, so Dane Cook all the way, bro.
Yeah, come on. Who's gonna be? I mean, I could probably use a little bit of that time, getting teeth scraped, but I would rather laugh at comedy because my meat will taste better if I'm happy and laughing at comedy, opposed to stressed out sitting underneath a dentist chair.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to word it, Arthur.
No, like if you're eating me like you're a cannibal and you're eating me on.
I got it.
I'm trying to tie it back in.
No, I get it.
I just wanted to make sure.
There's just no way to compare it to having an iron hook scraped across your gums.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Come on, who put that one together? You guys could do
Thank
better.
you for the question. I appreciate it.
You could do better than that. All right, so
God, you're already.
we're gonna do one more of these. All right, so I just read that one. So, would you rather open a landscaping business but do all the work yourself, or would you rather open a manscaping business but do all the work yourself?
I mean, I feel like there's a Mexican joke here somewhere about I already do most of my own landscaping. I did work with my grandfather who had a landscaping business. So, yeah, the landscaping thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to take that over. I mean, if we're talking about starting a manscaping business and I have to do the work, so I have to shave other men's nuts.
I'm sure it'd be more of a wax situation.
You think? Just kind of just ripping that shit off?
Yeah, I don't think... Would you go to a place that a guy was like, I'm going to use this razor and manually shave you versus a wax?
Like an old school barber?
Yeah, if you go to Brazilian, they'd use the wax. They don't... my sister does like skin stuff. And,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She waxed my back once.
I don't think I really don't want to be involved with having to remove any hair from males' genitals.
Sure.
So I do think that the landscaping option is going to be.
Done
and
landscaping?
you'd have to do butt cracks. You'd have to do.
Yeah, I mean that's not pleasant.
Right. I'm sure you're not getting a lot of ladies coming in there to get a male.
No, it's a
to do that.
manscaping business.
Yeah. Right. Sorry.
But landscaping is hard work.
Dude.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it's very hard.
But
And
you kind of
dealing
make your
with
own hours.
homeowners. Have you dealt with homeowners?
No.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so there's that whole thing. I've done a lot of landscaping in my days. Like I've worn the bucket hats trying to protect myself. I've drank a gallon of water without peeing, and being in the heat. I think I would rather opt into creating pain for that gain for my gentlemen out there while hanging out in the AC. I'm going to flip it on, and I'm doing the manscape.
You're going that route.
I'm doing the
I
manscape.
respect it. I respect it.
That's a roll of the dice, but that's an aggressive approach.
It's just like the devil for me. I know about the landscaping game.
Yeah.
I don't know about the manscaping game as much.
Yeah, and that's my reason for making that decision is because I know landscaping as well, and I know how hard of work that could be. Like, you got to move tons of rock. You got to move tons of sod. You have to, plant trees. You're out in the sun. There's no shade. Yeah. That's not an easy gig, and I'm sure keeping men's parts clean is not easy gig as well, but hanging out in that AC... you're getting confident people
Speaking
leaving.
sense. Yeah. I get it. That does make sense.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I think, it just come down to how hard do you want to work outdoors and being sweaty and versus what do you want to look at every day? Because, even being like a gynecologist, it's like, okay, you're going to deal with some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
You're going to see some road beef,
I guess that maybe it depends on how much money I'm getting an hour for each thing.
Because time is money.
I can put up with a lot.
That is true.
Everybody, there's a price on everything. There really is.
Right.
That's a good point.
How much?
I want to go the manscaping thing too. Then. I wanna
Yeah?
do that.
Yeah, he's switching sides here.
Well, he's bringing them over.
Yeah. I mean, I take care of myself. I'm sure I could do it for someone else.
And that's the thing too is like it's not all going to be about the Willie unit. It's not all about to be
The Willie unit.
Yeah, it's not all going to be about that. Sometimes I'm going to get a super fresh beard that I'm going to trim up and make that beard look
Sure.
epic.
Yeah. I guess we're only thinking about genitals. There's a whole rest of the body.
That's a good point. It's good. It's good to put everything in perspective and really balance out what we're working with here. But there is just some things again that might really alarm.
The barrier to entry for manscaping, if you're talking about being a barber or someone who can do Brazilian waxes. I mean, you got to go to school for that these days. You can't just start a business doing that. And I mean, with landscaping,
you're
you just
gonna hurt people.
You can get in wherever, you know.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, do I have the money for beautician school or whatever it's called? My sister went to school for hair, so.
Okay.
And getting beard trim certified or whatever. It's like certified to use a straight razor, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're you're essentially dealing with a pretty dangerous weapon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Susie, who cuts both of our hair. She
Thank
gets
you,
in there with
Susie.
that
you,
razor,
Susie.
man. Now,
Yeah, your beard looks sharp.
one little hit and it's over.
Yeah.
You got to know what the fuck you're doing. And I don't know if I'd be confident doing that. I'd rather take a lawn mower or a weed whacker.
Right, yeah, I feel more confident with a weed whacker.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna hurt less things.
I'm like a surgeon with my weed whacker. I
Really?
can get in there. Yeah. Yeah, my wife doesn't think so, but yeah, I can. You know, she was growing some squash last year, and it was getting outside of the flower bed, which I thought was the designated
Weed whacker.
growing area.
Okay.
And I weed whacked around the stuff that was growing out, and she got so upset. And she was like, "You took a hacksaw to my plants." I'm like a surgeon with this shit, all right? I trimmed it. Have you ever heard of trimming? You got to prune your fruit, right?
Well, no, and the trees. You
Right.
gotta
And the
prune
things
trees
that did grow, the squash that did grow was more healthier because, I took care of the stuff that was getting.
It was taking away the nutrients.
Yeah, you get it. See, this
Yeah.
guy gets it. My wife got really upset, and I don't think she's really forgiven me.
Well,
Is she still upset about it? You think?
Yeah, we talk about it in couples therapy every now and then.
Okay.
It comes up.
Comes up, he whacked my weeds and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, look, I'm
like,
pruning
I was mowing the lawn.
creating new growth.
I told you I didn't want to get a lawn anyway. I was like, we got to move into a place that doesn't have a lawn because I don't want to do yard work. And then the first thing that came our way was a fairly decent place to with lawns.
that's the reason why it switched from the landscape.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to do yard work. Yeah. Again, it depends on how much I'm getting paid for it. I don't get paid to do my own yard, so
That's a good point.
and we're
true.
renting, so I don't care about
Oh,
it.
even
so.
but yeah, that's a strong point. Yeah, just fucking rip out the, because down in Phoenix they have like the Brazilian grass or whatever they call it.
Ooh.
Or they just throw
Big
rock.
grass with big butts,
Yeah, I mean,
grass and bikinis,
Yeah, you can put a little bit out there and get
grass
a little wild.
with no bush.
Yeah, I don't even know what
Brazilian
Brazilian
grass.
grass is. To be quite honest with you, maybe it is it's some sort of pubic hair design.
We have Kentucky bluegrass here, don't we?
I feel like we're talking about how I was when I was talking about Bob Marley. Now I'm trying to figure out.
We're just talking about grass, dude.
That's it, man. We're talking landscaping.
Yeah.
Rip the grass out, put in rock. Let's keep it easy.
You've heard about? I interviewed a guy who did cut hair one time on the podcast, and the biggest thing I got from that is you get hair splinters in your hands from people's hair. Will get other people's hair will be embedded in your skin, and you have to take it out like a splinter.
I've had this happen to me.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.
I've had it happen to me. With the beard, though, it was a beard splinter.
Your beard.
Yeah, my own. And it felt like a normal splinter going into you. And I was like, what? Because I was just
got in your hand.
stroking the beard.
Okay, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, so 100%.
What kind of products you using in there, buddy? Some beard balm, some beard butter?
I'm using genuine Colorado water and Arthur Raw grease.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I thought that was a legit brand. There's so many brands out there of like.
There is. It's a saturated market.
Yeah, it is.
And so is my beard. It's very saturated.
You can throw it.
You gotta you gotta put some love in there, man. If it's cutting into your skin because it's so coarse.
That only happened a couple times, but I feel
A couple times.
Yeah, I went from once to a couple art.
No, it happened twice.
Yesterday.
A
It
lot of
happened
people-
twice yesterday.
A lot of people like to exaggerate, but those are real numbers.
No, you gotta put some beard oil in there. You gotta take care of it.
I agree, and that's when you come in with, sometimes I'll put the pomade in the hair and I'll put the excess in here. Sometimes I won't wash it as well, like you skip a shower, like you don't clean it as well, and that kind of keeps. Yes, yeah, and same with the hair. Like if you come on, man, you got hair. You got to know
Yes, I do.
that if you wash it every day,
Which you shouldn't.
yeah. So the beard is within the same realm.
Yeah, but when you wash your hair, you wash your beard, right? And with a separate lotion or like a shampoo?
No.
Because you shouldn't use the same.
Yeah, I use the same. What is your regime? Teach me the ways.
Yeah, so you want to shampoo at least once a week, maybe every
Once
4
a week?
days. Yeah, I go once
That's
a week.
it?
Although I have longer hair, so it's
Okay.
different. I use a beard balm after every shower. I put it in there, and then I've been doing a moisturizing, SPF 15 moisturizer on my face as well as some eye cream.
So
I don't want to just wake up like I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I want to look younger.
So I'm curious because I've noticed some of my peers in my friend group. Not you, Kevin. Maybe you.
Who the fuck
Not you,
knows
Kevin.
At this point,
It might be Kevin.
Not you,
But
Kevin.
you're going to answer right now. Okay, so when you trim up your beard, it's time to make the beard look fresh. Okay, so I have a method for this, and it's taken me years to figure out exactly what I like.
You go to Stacy.
No. It's actually the beard is done in house. The hair is done outside house.
It does look sharp.
But the beard, this is how I do it. Is I do a number one from like the bottom of my ears up to here, and then I do like a number 3 or 4 right here
Yeah.
on the cheeks for the listeners. On the chin, that's going 5 or 6 length, and then a 1 in the mustache area. Okay. So that way I have like these layers. And so I was curious because if you're putting beard oil in and stuff, do you have a similar?
Well, I go to professional when I can because
Okay.
I do think it's worth it. I go to Old Gold in Edgewater.
Okay.
But during the pandemic, I did do it myself. I did a 4 on the sides, and then I'd let this grow in just my goatee, if you will, and I would just kind of trim up the stray hairs.
Okay.
Because I like it to be thicker around there. I feel like it shapes my face well.
Yes. See, that's why you do the layers. So are you layering your beard, Kevin, or are you just one length?
like we talked about last night when the boys were here, I'm a one lengther, bro. So when it comes time, I'll let it grow out a little bit, and then I hit it with like a 3 or a 4, and I keep everything the same length.
I would love to see if eventually, actually not eventually, let's do it within the next month. Like you do, let's try the layer. I could do it for you.
No, you're not doing that.
You should go to a place and have someone do it and see if you feel an actual difference from having a professional do it or not. And see if it's
I
worth
think that's
it.
a good recommendation.
I think it's a good investment in yourself.
Yeah, if you're trying to up the beard game, I think that's probably a good
They put a hot
recommendation.
towel on your face.
Oh, I love it.
That is nice.
And that's what I love about going to Susie, who cuts my top hair. I'm gonna see her
Sorry,
Friday.
Susie. I said Stacy. I meant
Oh,
Susie.
you're good. I mean, hey, that's better than I'm terrible with names. I usually get the first letter right. So
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there
I
with
mean,
you too.
that's basically
you
what
heard
I
it. You were within the ballpark.
for sure.
So one question that we really like to ask everybody, and honestly, I had such a fun time, like going down the cannibalism route and stuff like that. Man, this has been a fun conversation, but kind of getting back onto a more serious note.
Sure.
One question we like to ask is if you could give humanity, all of humanity, a piece of advice to help them better their own lives and better the lives of people around them, what would that piece of advice be?
I mean, we're going painting a broad brush. I mean, I think that's a golden rule stuff right there. Do unto others as you'd want to be done unto you, kind of a thing. I think that's kind of just a good general one there. I think that covers a lot of bases.
For sure, and that's kind of like a typical cliche that you hear thrown around, and we talk about cliches on here because they're cliches for a reason.
Right.
Like that sentence exists for a reason, but how often are people actually challenging themselves to think about how they would like to be treated in this specific scenario? I'm trying to change lanes, and for some reason the person that had an opening wants to speed up just to make me not get in, Like, how are you going to act in that scenario? So are you going to let somebody in? But it's just when you start breaking that sentence down and start applying it to all the little moments in life, it's true because it's hard to, like, everyone's valid in their own existence, right?
Sure.
Like, so we all have our own, and it's easy to get lost in that thought process of, like, I'm doing this in my life right now. I'm. And that's the thing is, like, if you could take yourself out of that a little bit and put yourself in that perspective of, like, okay, well, would I actually like how I'm treating that person if I was that person? I don't feel like people travel down that road frequently enough when interacting with others in public. So I feel like that is a good one.
I like how you stayed in the lane of car metaphors there, staying, the car, when you're in a car, yeah, that's a lot. It's a big, it's a hard one to remember the golden rule with that one, yeah.
For sure.
I don't know how you see it from New England, but there is a Denver style of driving, and it's basically one hand on the steering wheel and one hand flipping off everybody else. It's a joke that my friend Luis Martinez does, but it's true, I've heard multiple comics from out of town talk about how Denver is a certain, very aggressive driver, doesn't want to give you any kind of leeway. Have you noticed that at all, or do you not?
I think that's an interesting thing to bring up because, there's so many other drivers that I see on their Texas license plate, California, so it's hard to say, in Denver, you do see a lot of that. I will, as you mentioned that, I was cracking up because I started doing a lot of driving in my new gig. And you do see some people getting pretty rowdy, especially not letting you merge, telling you to go fuck yourself. And I've been guilty of it myself. I have pretty bad road rage at times. But for me, my road rage stems from if my safety's being compromised. I don't mind slowing down, let someone in, or making an adjustment to make this thing flow right. But if my safety's compromised where somebody makes a stupid move, I get pretty upset about it. Everyone makes mistakes. I get that. But that's usually where my road rage stems from. New England, man. A lot of angry people. That's where a lot of my anger comes from, especially on the road. New Englanders are not afraid to NASCAR it. They will literally get on your bumper and get you loose. They'll put the bumper to the bumper. They'll give you the chrome horn, as we say in NASCAR.
Dang.
And I'm not saying that for all of New England, because I know there's going to be New England people listening. I go, what the fuck is this guy time? I don't do that. But, kind of just knowing that style of that aggression and respect, and because New Englanders are all about respect, right? It's like, you fucked me on the highway, now I'm going to put my bumper on your back.
Huh.
It can get a little rowdy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if they don't. We'll get right up on there, but I don't think in Colorado I've never seen anyone do bumper to bumper. I think there's I think we got plenty of anger here as well, but also I think there's a fear of violence at that point.
Sure.
Maybe there's too many guns around here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that there's not in New England, I don't know, but I think maybe Midwestern or whatever this is.
Yeah, you got a little bit.
We're in the West, right? We're considered Western,
which I love.
State,
which I
Midwest.
love. But Smith & Wesson is built in New England, so there is that as well. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was my first thought. Maybe.
Yeah.
Worried about. Colorado is kind of known for gun violence, so.
That's a good point. That is a great point.
We've had some unfortunate, things happen here. But back to the road. To what you're saying to help better humanity, let's just apply that to driving tomorrow for everybody listening.
Just let someone in.
Or
do
maybe,
the zipper method.
Yeah, maybe today.
Zipper.
Yeah, let's just treat people how we want to be treated. If we want to be let in and we want to be cordial, then that's fine. And one thing that my grandpa always told me, man, and I wish I got to know this man better before he passed, but great man. And one quote is that anybody hauling ass by him, right? They're hauling ass. They got to go wherever they got to go fast, and they're driving like an asshole. He would always say, I'll see you at the next red light. And my dad told me about this thing. And so I've always thought about that. Like, these people are on my ass. They're passing me. They're like fucking slow ass, like whatever. And then I catch them at the next red light, and I'm just sitting there like, damn, Grandpa, you had the truth. Speaking the truth.
Yeah, that's wisdom. Wisdom comes with age. And,
it does. Yeah, it really does.
So let's believe and achieve that this week. Let's believe in, really looking inwards. Let's look deep inwards to see truly our wants. Because I feel like too often people are robotic. We're bored. We're looking at our phones. We're trying to run away from diving into our own minds. And let's take a moment to believe in diving into our own minds and really consider how we want to be treated. And let's take a moment to ask ourselves, are we treating other people that deep down way that we would like to be treated? Are we actually doing that? So let's believe in that, and let's achieve actually treating people in a manner that we would find to be very pleasing, acceptable, and create happiness in our own lives. Let's treat people like that, believe and achieve. I feel like that's a great one, man.
Sure.
I really do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And listen to my podcast, Left Hand Right Brain.
Oh my God! Yeah, tell people
Give
all
us
the
plugs,
spots,
bro.
Yeah, I know we mentioned in the beginning.
Where can all of our listeners follow you? Where do they find you?
I think the thing the social media I'm most active on is Instagram. That's at Left Hand Right Brain. I post when I'm doing shows. I got something coming up September 10th at Bar None. So for So come out and see that. I'm on a great show run by Garrett Nygren. And then, anywhere you get podcasts, you can find Left Hand Right Brain. You can find Los Chupacabros or Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding. I just produced that one. It's my wife and our friend Jen that does that. So they're the host. But I pop in now. I'm like the Jamie of that one. I'll be looking up stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And Los Chupacabros is just a silly goose time with me and my other comic friends, podcast pals, Andreas Besseron, Patrick Scott. So you can find links to all those at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna include all those in the show notes down below.
Dope. Thank you.
Yep. So we can, drive some traffic your way, man. So fun to make your acquaintance. Look forward to doing your show. We want to come out and check out some of your comedy too, because Comedy Works is literally we could throw a football from here to there. Well, I probably could, but maybe Rico could from Napoleon Dynamite. But it's always fun to get out there and just see what's going on. Thanks for being here, brother, man.
Yeah,
and thanks for bringing us that whiskey. John,
my gosh.
John needs to step it up next time on episode.
Yeah, you better go top shelf, John. Okay,
Come
these
on,
guys
buddy.
deserve
The
it.
bar has been raised. Bar has been raised. Can't wait to be on your program, man, down
Yes,
the road. Just a fun time. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it, man. We're back here next week. We got Sean and Antonio joining us next week via Zoom. Good stuff coming, man.
Good stuff coming. You got to keep the ball rolling. When you start getting momentum, don't take your foot off the gas. That's the time to rev it. That's time to push the fucking pedal to the metal. That's time to let her rip, tater, chip.
That's right, baby.
It's time to own it.
Y'all be good to yourselves. You deserve it.